Okay,
Yes,
Ali.
born ready.
Hello, everybody. So let's do some breath first, and breath is perfect because that brings everybody to the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the 3 breaths in through the nose, deep into the belly, deep into New Gaia now. Allow. One more time. One more time. So allow yourself just to feel yourself.
And the dogs are joining us.
Right, perfect energy.
Tugs Parents.
Right. Well, they're so tuned into spirits. It's just so unbelievable how they feel them and know that they're here. So yeah. Powerful. So me and Ali got into this conversation right after the last video that I put out, and man, it's just been powerful what we are talking about. And I just got this, like, a lot of people are probably going through this, and a lot of realization through this conversation with me and Ali. And I think that it will help in the collective. For if we're going through this, this is a lot of beings that are going through this. And what I'm talking about is like she has a 15-year-old son and I have a 15-year-old son. He has hers full. Do you have him full time?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And I have mine partial time. But in the time that I'm grateful for not having him, because I've got to see my life, how I got to grow and expand in the time that I do have him. And it brought me to a full circle just as we were talking. But if Ali wants to bring forward a little bit of what she's experiencing with her son, which in a way I'm experiencing too, also with my son. So,
Yeah, both of us are this really fiery energy is being brought up between us. It's like almost all fire with just a little bit of sweetness of air thrown into it, but it's mostly fire. And it's like I think, well, I see it as like almost kind of our collective anger, like, or fire. I didn't mean to say anger, that just came in. I meant to say, our fire, because I think anger gets viewed as a negative thing in our society, especially for women. And uh, I don't know why somehow, but this is crazy. But the Jimi Hendrix lyrics just came into my mind with the part where he says, "Let me stand next to your fire" in his lyrics. It's like there's this almost like in a like it as a twin flame, dynamic. My son is like he's bringing it out from me and I'm bringing it out from him, and we're like swirling around in this dance and I'm trying to hold on to him and he's, it's like
chaos.
yeah, and but there's some kind of something like moving out of it, like really moving.
No, truly, truly, no. You brought it forward so beautifully. But in one word, it's just really chaos, chaos between both of you. So,
Yeah.
and for me, chaos between me and my brother. Me and my brother, wow, that's so funny. And that must be an expansion of me and him when we were brothers. And maybe you too with your son in lifetimes where you've lived brother and sister, because we're connecting into all beings of ourselves. And what something that when I went to the bathroom right now that brought forward to me is I didn't realize, because as I'm collecting all beings of all parts of me, I never put it into perspection of what's happening on the other individual side. I just feel them merging with my light. I feel that piece of me merging with my light, not realizing what's happening on the other side of that. So today it was kind of like brought forward for me, and a full example of kind of what's taking place for all of us and for the collective and for these kids, and her son being 15 and my son being 15. We, in an age that we grew up, us mothers, we have been very motherly to these children. We have smothered their energy in such a way, because that's how we've been taught. We have been taught that we have to be the mother bears. We have to protect them in every way. We have to nurture them and guide them and mold them into this perfect being, but not realizing that they won't fit into anybody's life, because
Yes.
you're going to love them like a mother loves them. No wife is going to love them like a mother loves them. But what happens is that the connections between the son and the mother and the daughter and the mother, is that there is such a connection there, that there's a merging. And so now these children are becoming of age, and they know they came in here to shift something. They came in here to be their own light, to merge into their own beingness, because now they have something to do. That they have carried the energy of what they've been taught, what their mothers have taught them, and we still, as mothers, because we see them as 15, that they're emerging to their highest light, and we're trying to, you know, you know, cover them in such a way that it's darkening both of our lights, because we're not letting our light grow, we're not letting their light grow, and we're not letting them be their natural self. So, and we've been taught that way, and so as we learn to be more safe in our body and to trust this process of loving, that they got this, they got it to their full expansion, that they're going to do it perfectly, and work with your guides with this. And just like me and Allie were working, it has to go back to the inner work. You can't work out here. It has to go in here to work. It's the only way. And to help your son or your child or any relationship, you have to do the work in here first. The change has to start within you.
Yes.
All within you.
Yes.
You have to be something to give something.
Yeah.
If your son doesn't feel safe with you, that's because there's no safe place here.
Yeah.
And plus, your son, they merge into both of you, so now they're carrying both frequencies. They're carrying you, and they're carrying their energy, because they can feel everything that's going on with you. And so now they're suffocating into this expression of both of your energies, like their essence is hidden, and they're trying to escape it. So they're going to do whatever they have to do to escape it. And a lot of people, a lot of kids especially, are becoming sick in a way, or sick in their bodies.
Well,
what people call in their minds, and it's not. It's that they're emerging.
It's interesting, just to add to that, when we were talking earlier. Okay, so my son had an emergency situation on Friday that was affecting his heart, and I was not there at the time. And during that time, I thought it was just a regular day. He went to school. And during that time, I was listening to a spiritual speaker. I'm just remembering this now, on video. And the topic of the video was attachment is not love. Because when we are attaching ourselves and holding on, and we're talking about parenting, the attachment bond, we're holding on, smother, like you said, that's not love. I mean, detachment is the true love. So I was listening to that and, kind of vibing with that. And then I got the call first that he wasn't at school. And then a little bit later, he came in the door and started telling me about this, the heart rate that went up, and he had been at the emergency room. And what he was describing was exactly like his birth experience, but I wasn't ready to receive it, at the time. And so it brought up all this fear for me, of fear of losing him. And so, it's like, I think if, my guides were telling me anything, they were saying, okay, you're learning about detachment, but now let's really show you detachment. Let's, you have this situation with your son with this emergency. And so later, when I finally talked to another parent, she said, Allie, you were being triggered from your birth experience. And it was because I had been holding that for 15 years, and I, or more. And, so now it's time to let it out. And, a lot of us think that, it's the younger people, like, well, we know more than them because we're their parents, or we're older. But I really do believe that they've chosen us. And so at one point I said, I'm sorry. I apologized to my son because I had gotten, a little bit, I was crying, and I was firing questions at what happened. And, later I apologized and I said, I'm sorry. I need to be calm. I want to be calm. And he said, yeah, Mom, he's like, all about meditation and a little bit about hypnosis and all these things. And now it's just time for you to embody that. And I was walking up the stairs and I stopped in my tracks and I'm thinking, out of the mouth of babes, he just said the word embody, which is, I, yeah, yeah. So I said, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Where it took me, watching and listening to Allie's experience and on my own experience of my own son, how we compromise, being a mother, and we tolerate, okay, we're going to tolerate our energy, but that exhausts you too. The thing is to allow your son to be who he is and allow you to be. The thing is, it has to happen within you. It all has to happen within you. And then once the safe place comes to you, and that's what I had to discover this morning, the safe place has to come for you, then they will feel it. They will be around you, and then they don't feel the heaviness of you. When you merge into the love of you and you find that light within you, then it takes you to a place of you. And then in that rediscovering of you, then everything starts coming to you. Your son will come to you because he doesn't feel bound by you. He'll come to you because he's naturally guided to you because he loves you. He's part of you. But he can't, and these kids, they can't be going into these situations where they're suffocated anymore. That's why they're trying to find their own way. And they're doing it every way they can. And if a sickness or they're literally, that's coming, they're creating that in their body frame to stop them. It's a stopping point. Okay, I can't take on my mom. I can't take on me. Something's got to give. And I have to choose me now. I love my mom, but I can't help her anymore. She has to save herself. And that's what's shown here. And that's with me and my son, and with Allie and her son. And we all have to return to ourself inside of ourselves. It can only be found within ourselves. In this whole circle that me and Allie, we discovered our motherhood and allowed to let the boundaries and allow our self to return to ourselves and trust our guides are going to take care of them because they are as protected as we are. They are more protected as long as we're not putting our shit on them. Really, they truly are. And so, in this whole experience, I felt too, going through the experience of the death process with my daughter, and then Allie worrying about the death process as she loses her son. And then I realized, oh my God, when you're going through your light being of you, you're going to always pick the highest experience of you, and you're going through many paradigms of you. So the body, you have chose a choice with the body. The body is showing you, okay, now we've discovered the disease, so you will go and you will internalize the disease, or you will grow past the disease and become and bloom into your full potential. You past the disease, you won't carry it any longer in your physical being. Or you will pass from this life and you will merge with the lightest being that you are taking place now. And that's what's happening with me. That's what they were showing me. All these beings of me are merging with me, not realizing that they're passing in these lives to merge with me. I never realized that before. Wow. That just feels so, wow. So that's what's happening. Nobody's ever losing anybody. We go into that experience because we want to experience it. And the one thing that I brought forward with Allie that I'm learning from my own daughter's death experience that she's going through and living through every day is I'm learning her non-physical energy every day, every moment, and I'm merging with that. And I'm like talking with her, and it's so light, and it's so here, and it's so now. Well, what's happening is how I'm working with the energy of her non-physical self and her higher self being, and it's merging into the non-physical, and it's merging the non-physical into the physical being of her. So we're merging into a better place in our life, and that's what's happening when you start merging into your lightest being of you. Now then you start working with the non-physical. I'm working now with my son and the non-physical being of him. and he can show me and shift me and guide me the best way for my son's journey. So I'm not binding him. So now I'm working with my son's energy on a different level. I'm not talking physically to him, I'm working with him over here. And I'm doing it in my quiet space, out of my way. And then he can show me the best way to merge with my son. And then that merging happens into the physical, from the non-physical into the physical, because that's how we're doing our abilities now. It can't be pushed out here. We tried that. You tried that today, Allie. You reached out to the world.
Yeah.
Called everybody. Everybody you call you. She did it today. And she got nothing out of it, but she got greatness out of it because she's learning that that's not how the energy's working now.
Well, just to add to that, the interesting thing about that I didn't get a chance to tell you yet is I had also reached out to another, a mother who is, her son is friends with my son. We don't talk very often, but I kind of, I asked her how her son was doing, and I told her that my son is having a hard time, and I said, would you please hold him in love and light, please. And as Vicki Lynn and I were talking, I had noticed around the time of it was just becoming 11:11, the time was lining up. And when you were telling me that you were sensing that my son would be okay and that he would come back home, and that I think you even mentioned at the time you had seen 1,000 angels were around him. And then as we were trying to set up our conference, I looked at my phone from the other parent, and right at the same time, she had sent me a message saying, your son is so bright, we love him so much, and he has so many angels around him right now. And it was, so if that's not the light in the universe, I don't know what is.
I got chills when my hair standing up on my arms.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was feeling on my shoulders, but
I got it all this. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. So we had one mother, as she was telling the other mother, all these angels are your son, around your son. And we didn't plan it and we didn't know it.
Right. And it happened just like that.
Yeah. That's the collective.
Right. And when you're tapping into that, it's a trust this process. We always go back to the old ways. They don't work anymore. I can't do it. And it had really surfaced with my son because of watching me going through the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride with my son. And that the more I was tolerating, I was exhausted at the end of the day, more frustrated with him. And because I would set up my day. Okay, today's going to be a good day, but I'm just going to allow him to be, but I'm just going to tolerate the day. That got me to exhaustion, and toleration and exhaustion, it brings you to that level. And so then the next day I'm going to compromise. We're going to match each other. You know what I mean? That even brought me to an exhaustion day, and so, and I was doing, I didn't want him to show parts of me that I feel that he sees as weird that he always compliments on. And so I was trying to be something other than what I was. Well, it was exhausting my energy. So when I let go of whatever that day was going to be, I'm just going to let it flow, and everything's just going to be as it's going to be. And, it's just going to go with the light of the love, and I'm just allowing. And even when the turbulence showed up, it was so funny because we ended up in kind of laughter, and he even mentioned a couple things, and they didn't hit me in such a way, and then it was so funny on my trip home. It was like Airion and Astron came through and they channeled to him, and it's like he received it. He got it at that moment. And then he goes back to a moment that we had where he accidentally ate I had made edibles with hemp in it, and he had ate 2 brownies at Christmas time, and it took him into where he could see all parts of himself and me, and he was having a trip. Well, he goes, Mom, that really did happen, didn't it? And I said, yeah, it did. And at that moment, I felt that exchange happened there between me and my son. And that's where we're going, allowing them to be in freedom of themselves, no matter what it looks like to us. Sometimes we just have to hold our breath. I don't mean hold our breath, but just breathe through those holding breath moments. Just allow, or go outside and allow the mother bear to be calmed. They got to find safety in us. And
I like that image allowing the mother bear to be calm.
It's true, you know, we want to pounce, you know, we're going to protect them. Well, it's time for them to be free and be their light. They're transforming into beings of light that they are. They got it. We don't got to do anything to happen. And just like your son, he's showing you bits and pieces of himself. Just like he said, embody it, Mom. That's what we're doing right now. We have to embody the energy that's here and now. All of us. He's not going through any different transformation than you are. The change is happening now. We ain't got time to waste. I can't carry the load for both of us, Mom, anymore. That's what they're telling me for all relationships. I can't carry. That's why we're having a stopping. I can't do this anymore. Because you're allowing that person to be as they are, and you're allowing your body to free freedom of what it is. We can't work in the old programs. So even when we talk about the past, we're going back there. We got to release all those programs and allow it to come in differently. Because that's what's happening for me. It's coming in pure. Those moments come in pure. It's just like drops in. And then it's not like I'm grasping back here for something. It just like drops in. And we're going from the past to the future. Our energies are like dividing. Our energies are dividing from the past to the future. So you're either going to let go of the past, or you're going to try to carry it over to the future, but it don't work that way. You can't. You can't carry forward the baggage. The emotional stuff has to be dealt with. That's why you're going through this. That's why we're all going through this. That's why we're all going through this all deep core shit. Is to merge into this higher being and a better person of us. And we're all doing it together. And we have to let go and allow our relationships, on my daughter, my son. That was the hardest thing, to let go of my son, and my daughter. That is the hardest thing for a mother. I had to, because she was telling me, Mom, you can't go around me. I can feel everything that you're feeling, because I was feeling all those things that a mother goes through when your daughter receives a death sentence. I had to go through all those. And then I released them, and then I felt myself free from them. And then I allowed her to go through the freedom, and now I don't carry the burden of that to her. Because we carry that to people. Not realizing it. Not wanting to add to their experience of it. We are. Because they so love us. They love us so much that we're exhausting them. That they're having to escape. I can't do it. I can't do it. They're showing you the only way they know how. Just like my son, just like your son. All relationships. It looks harsh, but if you look into the big picture of it, it's not really that bad. You know? So as we're returning, and I feel it, to the different timelines of us, to the future, the new Gaia that's here and now, we're returning to the being of the light. This lightness that comes with love and bonding that is unrecognizable. You can feel it. That's what I was telling Allie. There's a bonding that's happening with all of us. And it's happening for our kids, and our kids can't receive that bonding if they're not at their authentic self. No one can. No one can. So everybody's trying to escape the bondage that has held everybody. Everybody is doing it. We can't live that experience anymore. We're breaking free. And that looks weird to us and uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. But if you trust and allow this experience to happen and change your environment, listen to high vibrational music, not so much with words. If you feel words, listen to high vibrational words. But listen to high vibrational music that'll help transform your area. It works. It's the easiest and quickest thing for me. And aging my home.
Yeah, I want to add to that too, because I was, most of my music that I listen to is through, it's online or YouTube or something, and I had unplugged my router because I wanted to be away from at least a little of this EMF signal for a while that was just coming in, around me, because I felt like it was making me feel keyed up, and And so this morning I felt like I was in survival mode when my son and I were having a bit of an unsettling morning. And I had gotten my flute. I have a little bamboo flute, and I had gotten my flute out because I felt like I couldn't like ohm. I felt like I was a little bit too angry to ohm, but I needed some music. So I was playing my little flute, and then he was doing his fiery thing about, Mom, where'd you put my whatever, and where'd you take my whatever? And I said, do you still have a recorder, a wooden recorder? And he said, well, yes, I do. And then he had taken that, and I have this, I'm not sure exactly, it's some kind of a chime with the sound. And I was using that this morning because, yeah, I just needed the sound, the clearing, like the vibration.
That's what we're doing. Like I let my router, it's in the farthest part of my house, you know, but every day we need to clear that energy. Even if you turn it off and turn it back on, clear the energy. That's why it's very detrimental for us to do all this stuff. And it seems like a lot. I just did this yesterday. Let it build up. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. And then once you start doing it, it becomes part of your ritual. Because literally, ritual and ceremony is part of the law of us.
Mm.
To return to the law of the ritual of us. That is part of the ritual. When you're using your ability to heighten your own energy field of your own home every day, I do it every morning. I open up my front door, my back door. Don't leave your doors open as you're clearing your home.
I did that this morning.
Yeah, if you play music, and it clears the energy, but it keeps it inside because you're not clearing the energy. So open up windows. Even in the wintertime. I have windows that are open, and I clear the energy, and I let movement happen in my home. And
Yeah.
not allowing to let the movement happen. You can clear your whole energy even with sage, but if you haven't cleared it's looking for an exit. And if it can,
Yes.
it resides into the material stuff around you. That's why I say clear your home, because that energy settles of oldness, old stagnant energy settles into the material stuff around you. That's why when you move your energy and you clean a room, you feel so free. You feel like, wow, I can breathe. It's because the energy has moved in that room. You have now cleared that stagnant energy. Even after you do a clearing every day, I can feel it. And it's so funny because sometimes I clear my house. I do it so daily that I'll clear my house different ways. I'll just turn on music. You don't have to do it the same. I'll just blast music through my house, or I'll do it with sage. And as I do it, it'll show up differently. You'll notice your music starts shifting and changing. It will go from highs to lows. Watch your music do this because it's matching to the energy around it. So as the energy is going through the highs, you'll watch what happens in my life is that I watch energy. It's like it's clearing a really, really deep low because it like drops to a really low and then it'll get real high again. Like it's clearing that frequencies. And then also too with my sage, I can burn sage and it'll start sparking and start igniting all over the place, you know, or with tea leaves or tea leaves. Why I say tea leaves, I was gonna say bay leaves. But yeah, tea leaves work too. My bay leaves will just start like sparking and igniting, and it's clearing that energy. And it's powerful. It's just showing you that how much work you're doing. You really are doing so much work, and we don't even realize it. To be aware of your life is just not in the body frame, and it's your environment that you've created around you. You know, so when you're tapping into your inner world, you start looking at your outer world differently. You really truly do, and then you get this hint like this. I see all this dust, and I was going to clean my outside. As soon as we're done with this video, I'm dusting all this whole area off.
Yeah.
Because my soul is calling me. No, it needs to be cleaned.
Yes. Yeah.
The dust is settled. Now we're clearing that stuff. Because that's what happens. If you let the dust settle, that happens in your energy field. You let the dust settle, your energy field settles. Well, your energy wants movement. Wants that dust to be cleared so your energy can move along and feel freedom.
Yeah.
True energy is moving. That's why you want the change to happen. If you're going through a place of darkness and you're letting the energy unfold in you, and that's where you don't want to be seen, you just are just hiding from who you are, you feel like anxiety, you feel entrapment, you feel like the world is going to take you. You're lifeless. Everything, every one of your senses is happening at this point to show you there's something more taking place here. It's taking you to your inner world. If you allow it, because the light is always in the darkness. If you allow that, I can't take it anymore, you're going to be done with it, this sparkness happens within you. And that's what's happening with these kids. They can't take it anymore. There's a disease happening. Their body's showing them, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. Can't take it. I can't take it. So they are too wanting the freedom. So their spark is happening within them, and they are gasping for air of freedom to find themselves. That's happening within all of us. No matter how you look at it, no matter what you call it, depression, anxiety, all those emotions are just showing you to a place of you. Now you can take and you can follow in till you pass over, and then you will meet your light, because that's what's happening. If you don't meet it in this physical lifetime, you will go to where your light is being held in a physical lifetime. So and I feel like that's happening on many planes, like many timelines. That's happening now, more and more and more and more. And it doesn't feel exhausting. It don't feel fearful. It feels right. I don't know. Right is the only word that I can say.
Yeah.
All of our souls are going to the highest evolved being that we are. So it's going to resonate with that highest dimensional being. If it's not doing it in this physical life, it will do it in another physical life. Maybe it's on the same timeline. I feel that, but they are showing up. They are, just as we are.
Yeah, I'm feeling it here now, and for some reason it keeps coming to me that which came to me in one of my meditations recently, is that this summer's, it's going to be beautiful this summer. This summer it's going to be beautiful. There's no doubt about that. And so all this fiery movement that sometimes it feels like it's destructive and we're going down like this or something, but it's like, it's just, I see it as a destruction of this old stuff that's like, because like I said, the video I was trying to watch about during when my son was having this experience, is that love is not this attachment. We're always saying to each other at the end of every conversation, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. But sometimes we're attaching with that, and we're not like allowing, and I believe for my son that what's happening with him is part of his awakening. That just came to me.
Absolutely.
Is definitely, it's part of his awakening.
Every disease is created to awaken. Every disease is showing you, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Because all your programs, all your storage, everything you take in, all the knowledge that you take in daily, all the TV that you watch, everything that you watch on every movie, everything is taken in and stored somewhere in your body. It is stored, and then it festers. It's like a festering, just like when you eat. It's not your fat. Your fat is infested with inflammation. So you are swelling, your fat is swelling because it doesn't know what to do with the DNA now that you have consumed. So it doesn't know what to do. Well, it's the same with your energy. Your energy don't know what to do. It's not moving along. It's at the same place. It's held at the same place. There's no movement here. It can't be its highest light here, because it's always at the same place, at the same dark state, drowning you in this. I just feel a drowning sensation, and the soul can't do it anymore. So you emerge into these diseases because the body is showing you, okay, I'm here, listen to me, and you can change it. And you can change it. And I know hemp will change. Hemp is changing my daughter's way. They said she would be dead. She's still not dead. She won't be dead for a long period of time. I feel that completely. Hemp is completely saving her life. But she has to do her emotional stuff. That will stop her every time, in every disease. You have to do your emotional stuff, even to go into to New Gaia. You have to do your emotional stuff. The baggage cannot be carried in. You have to be your authentic self. I loved it when me and Allie were talking about, if I die, people will know all my secrets. That's so true. Is that true for everything?
Yeah.
But you have to let go of all your secrets now.
Yeah.
Let yourself let them go, because you have to go through clearly, secretless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite honestly, yeah. I don't want someone to read my light in a book. I mean, I am working on a book right now, but I mean, I don't I don't want somebody to go through my clutter and go, oh, I never knew she was such a light being. I just want to go, yes, I am. Hi, right now.
Right? We're here to be it. Internalize it. And not put stuff around us thinking that we're that because it's a book that's sitting over there.
Right.
That we're going to change somebody's expression because it's a book sitting there. It's time for us to be us. It's time for us to be our light. And your body's showing you that. Your body came here as an expression of you, having the same expression. And if it can't express its light, it's going to back out. Because it's not having its experience that it chose. Just if you chose the main character of your life and you're not having the experience that you chose, would you want to be here? Not really. That's why a lot of us are feeling, in the beginning I used to, not so much anymore, I don't want to be here. I'm sick of this life. When you choose to start really looking at your life, looking what you're doing, looking what you're transpiring, and knowing that there's another light being of you that's doing it, and you can do it, you can do it, and are doing it to its full potential, and changing just not you, but everything around you, the consciousness around you. That's big. It's big. When we go through these chaotic mind stuff, they seem so hard and so exhausting. But if you look at the big picture of yourself, of what you're going through, every day you wake up, what I do for me, I wake up for myself a better version of me, and it works. And then I see how I'm not just becoming a better version of me, but how it's touching everybody's life. First, it started in my nature, how I started touching the life where they were touching me, how they crumbled when I crumbled, how they took all the, all the expression of me, and they did their work, in the nature of me, and how it's affecting now in every being that I touch. That's what we're doing. We're returning to the light being of ourselves, and then it starts radiating out of you. And then those beings that come forward are ready. They're ready. I don't have to seek it. That's the thing, is that I always thought I had to seek it. That was holding me in a place. I was pushing out. We can't be in that energy anymore. We have to allow the beings that are ready to be part of us to come to us. That's the only way. And then we share our gifts as they share theirs. It's amazing. It's incredible. But there has to be balance in every way. In every way. In heart-centered way. And it just feels so nurturing and so loving and bonding. The bond I can't explain. And the love I can't explain. It's bigger than I could ever explain in the 3D world. It's just huge, vast, and real. And that's where we're going, and that's where we are. And so as every person is lining up to them, it's going to look different for every one of us. We have to allow each person to be themselves. And when we feel those things show up inside of us, like Mother Bear, to realize that's inside of us. Maybe you need to hug a tree and put your body on Mother Gaia and allow her to calm you. And then work with the energy of his higher self. Work with that energy only, not his physical being, his higher self being.
You know, I'm getting those song lyrics are coming into my mind. She changes everything she touches. She changes
Oh,
everything she touches, everything she touches.
oh, my heart feels so big right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's true for all of us. It's true. We do. We change everything we touch. And if we just look at it and not so physically and learn to work differently with the non-physical self, you accomplish more there.
Mhm.
And then it just, and I didn't think that it would appear in the physical, but it's happening for me and my daughter. So it works. It works. And they too, even if they're cut off, are still working from their higher self in a way. It's still getting through. So I send love to all of you.
Yay.
Truly, truly
Yes.
got this. We truly, truly got this. We do. And there's just moments that it looks like you're alone, but you're not. You're not.
Yeah, thank you.
No, for all of us, for all of us. And I think that's the hardest part for all of us. We feel so alone. We feel like we're the only one going through it, and we're not.
I think it really takes that swirling of that fiery energy and then there's like, in that feeling alone of like, okay, it feels like this destruction and now I'm alone and I'm broken and I'm destroyed and it's not that.
Let me explain that what I feel.
It's clearing, yeah.
It's completely clearing. It's completely clearing, and I feel that too for this year, that there will be massive fires everywhere. We had a massive fire here last year. It's actually
Mhm.
started here in Mount Shasta, and that's so weird because that's a crown of, of New
Yes.
Mexico, and we had a massive fire here, and I feel like it's just spreading, and but it's the fiery and dragons. I feel dragons, but I don't feel them as dark, and I feel like they're burning up the old and clearing in the new.
Dragons. Yeah.
Dragons, and with the flame, with your son, he is igniting the flame in you, because we all have a flame inside of us. And that flame is so nurturing and so comforting, and it burns off energy and it burns off disease. And if you match that, because I noticed that when my Kundalini will really start rising when I'm going through anger. And
Mhm.
wow, that's so funny. Wow. Wow.